Next up in this lecture, we'll be talking about notebooks within the Fabric environment. And if you have ever worked with a Jupyter notebook, be it within VS Code or as a standalone application running on your local host, this is pretty much the exact same thing, but running within the Fabric environment. And it can use cloud computing and the capacity to process massive amounts of data, write entire data pipelines, analyze your data, train ML models, and then use a bunch of AI tools which are integrated into this environment, as we'll see very shortly. We have a cell over here wherein we can start to write code in a bunch of languages like PySpark, Scala, SQL, R, Python, T-SQL, whichever one you may prefer. And the beauty really is that using Copilot, we can now write code without even knowing the language very well, or if we know the language, we can use it to optimize code, save us a lot of time, because in many cases Copilot can write better optimized code than most of us. So what I'll do is, first of all, I have added a couple of data items and linked my Hawk Lakehouse to this notebook. I want the notebook to know that this is the place where I want to eventually get the data from. And you can simply hit add data items and either select that I want to create a brand new lakehouse, or I want to choose the existing data sources that I have within my OneLake catalog that have been published. For now, Hawk Lakehouse is what we will use, and I have tied this notebook to a standard session, not a high concurrency one. Next, what we'll do is simply, I will go to Copilot, and then I have asked it a couple of questions already. Let me open up a new chat by clearing all of this over here. And then I'm simply going to make a request to it to load the personal finance table from my Hawk Lakehouse into a pandas data frame, because that's what I want to do right now. I don't want to use Spark specifically, and I want to convert the dataset that will be imported using Spark into a pandas data frame. Maybe that is just what I am more comfortable with. And now Copilot will first start to scan the items that I have linked within my environment. And now it has given me something like this code over here, right? But I think the issue is that I simply have to copy paste it, and I don't have the convenience of having the insert button over here. This is not a big issue, but it starts to get bigger and bigger of a problem when the size of code that is returned to you is massive. So what I would do, and the way that I recommend that you work with Copilot in notebooks specifically, is that whenever you go to a cell, and let's say now you want to talk to this cell and refer to this cell with Copilot, you have this button over here and you can ask for help from Copilot. And now right above this cell, you have this nice editor wherein you can ask Copilot to generate code, or you can simply hit the / and ask it to explain the code, fix your code errors, add comments to your code, or even optimize your code. So pretty much the entire development can now be taken care of by Copilot. What I'll ask it to do right now is not explain or do anything, but simply load my personal finance table in a pandas data frame, and then hit enter. And remember that your session needs to be connected from over here, otherwise it will throw an error and it will tell you that first you need to go ahead and activate a certain kind of a session from here. And once the code has been generated, this time around the code has now been imported right within your editor, just like this, right? So you can now go ahead and either accept this or you can discard it, and then you can trigger a couple of commands and say that can you explain this code, fix the errors, add comments to my code, optimize it, all of that stuff. I'll discard it for now and remove this line from here and take you to the next step, which is the data wrangler over here. And this is a pretty cool feature because I have loaded a couple of data frames into my memory right now. I basically ran the cells, and then whenever a cell runs, it is loaded into the memory, and now it has been recognized and stored as a variable, for example. So pandas df is what I will click on, And then Data Wrangler is a full-blown service within the Notebooks environment, wherein first of all, you can start to take a look at your data set. There is a very nice summary that has been returned to me by this AI assistant that the shape of my data set is 1000 rows by 20 columns. I have 20 columns, cool. There are no rows with missing values, which tells me more about my data quality. How many rows are duplicate? None, which is awesome. And there are no missing values. So straight away, I have a lot of information about the quality of my data set. I can remove this from here, and then from views, you can hide the summary as well if you wanted to, and the different statistics that we are seeing over here. Now, it is also giving you unbelievable suggestions on the left, wherein it is telling you that I have these suggestions for you if you wanted to basically perform a machine learning operation. And for those of you who may have studied ML a little bit practically, it is asking you that you can one-hot encode a certain value or a column in your data set. The region, you can drop a certain column, you can drop this column as well if you wanted to, right? You can also find and replace duplicate rows, drop the missing values, fill the missing values, find and replace. So let me say drop duplicate rows, and it has automatically written the code for me. I will apply it, and now this operation has been performed over here on the 20 columns that I had. The data remained unchanged after this step was performed because I had no duplicate rows to begin with. I'll go back to the current operation now, and as a next step in my data cleansing pipeline in a way to analyze this, you can see that an amazing data distribution has been presented to me. So for now, let me hide the operations and let me hide the cleaning steps to show you how we have 1000 distinct values in this certain column. For this one, it is showing you the entire distribution that the monthly income where 5,000 to 5,500 is the income that somebody takes home in US dollars within your data set. 91 rows basically fall in that category. How many of them are missing? How many of them are distinct? It lets you know about your data quality in a super easy fashion without writing any code. This is unreal because just a few years ago, you had to literally do all of this manually, and there were 1,000 courses on the internet teaching you how to do all of this using Python code. Now, I don't say that the value for that has reduced, but obviously we will start to depend more on AI as we go ahead. You can add this code to your notebook. You can copy it to the clipboard that you have generated so far. You can save this output as a CSV as well. And let me bring back the cleaning steps once again and operations as well. And it's also telling me that you can capitalize the first character, convert it to lowercase. All of this requires Python knowledge, and specifically even pandas knowledge, that if you don't understand the syntax on how you can write Python code, it's just impossible, right? Now you don't need to know any of that. Formulas, you can one-hot encode, calculate the text length, create the column from a formula. You can describe how you want a new calculated column to be created. Maybe you want to convert USD to Canadian dollar equivalent by multiplying this with, let's say, 1.3537, whatever the latest exchange rate is. And then you can sort and filter and describe the operation with Copilot as well. I think any step within the cleaning pipeline that you want to perform can now be performed within this notebook environment. In the next lecture, we'll be taking a look a little bit more at Data Wrangler as well as the other AI tools available within this environment.